Alrighty. Riley Green has released his brand new sophomore album, Behind the Bar, and it's time to talk about it. Behind the Bar is Alabama native Riley Green's second official studio album, the follow up to his highly anticipated debut, Different Round Here. A record that I enjoyed quite a bit. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't jaw dropping, but I thought there was a lot to like, whether it be the fun energy he brought on tracks like the big lead single, There Was This Girl, or In Love by Now, or the slower, more sensitive, honest side of Riley we got on tracks like Break Up More Often, and one of his best songs to date, Numbers on the Cars. He then announced the checklisty I Wish Grandpa's Never Died as his next single, but ever since then, Riley has just struggled to gain much traction. In the latter half of 2020, he put out a 5-track EP that I wasn't huge on. Sure, there was some fun energy on Jesus and Wranglers, and yeah, Behind the Times was a sweet sentiment, but it was nothing we hadn't heard from Riley up until that point. The title track of the EP also became his most recent and still is his current single, If It Wasn't for Trucks, which has had a rough climb up the charts. It's been out for 33 weeks and is currently sitting around the 44th position. My point is, Riley was this promising young guy who is trending to be one of the next neo-traditional stars, but ever since his debut, it seems like he's just been gradually losing momentum, which brings us to this new album, Behind the Bar. I won't lie to you, I didn't know this album was coming until the night it came out, and I was like, oh, it's a full album. It just didn't have the build up his debut did, whether that's due to the only single underperforming as of late, or just a lack of buzz. This album just seemed to appear out of nowhere. Right away, you'll notice it's a 7-track album, which is something we've been seeing a lot more of lately, these shorter, borderline EP-length albums. I've given my thoughts on them. I don't think they're all that bad, but in Riley's case, it just really emphasizes how lackluster this album is. If I had to describe this new album in one word, it would be unimpactful. The album opens with the title track, Behind the Bar, a track just saying, hey, I know the bar is closing, but our party stays open all night behind the bar in the parking lot. Just good old boys drinking beer and smoking weed and having a good time behind the bar. It's not bad, it just fails to leave an impact on really anything. Sonically, it feels like a leftover from any of his previous projects. We then transition into That's What I've Been Told, a track he teased through social media by performing acoustically during the pandemic. But unfortunately, it's the same checklisty lyrics we've grown a bit tired of, especially from Riley. I guess in terms of list songs, this one works better than I Let a Damn Good Woman Leave, because at least this here track is aware. It's just sharing bits and pieces of advice Riley has been told over the years, but it just falls really flat and ends up feeling numbingly hollow. There's just nothing to grab onto. I guess it's supposed to be moving because he sings it like a meaningful ballad, but even if you do relate to any of the lyrics, he fails to elaborate on anything before just moving on to the next item on the list. If It Wasn't for Trucks, as I said, is the current single, but since the day this thing came out, I haven't been crazy about it. I also just find it a bit odd he's pulling a song from an EP onto such a short album, considering If It Wasn't for Trucks wasn't even a single, it was from another EP that was almost as long as this album. It just makes the album feel like more of an EP than it already feels. I don't know. It's nothing new. We've heard it before. If you're really interested, you can check out my review of the whole If It Wasn't for Trucks EP back in September. And then as we transition into the second half, I must admit it picks up a little. Put 'Em On Mine has the energy the album was craving in the beginning, a genuinely fun song that has some clever wordplay. Riley trying to get with this girl by offering all he's got to her, all the things she could put on his, whether it be a drink on a tab, a hand for a slow dance. I love the opener, how he describes her eyes as bluebird blue. Overall, this is a good song. It's nothing remarkable, but it's what the album was desperately needing up until this point. Substance. That Was Us is a duet with Jesse Alexander that had the right idea, but Riley just failed to hold his own. It's not just that he got outperformed by Jesse, but even the instrumental. He just drags through this whole song. His parts just lack passion, and I think that's something I felt over the course of this record. Riley just seems to lack any conviction in his delivery. I Let a Damn Good Woman Leave is in the running for the weakest song on here. As I was saying earlier, at least That's What I've Been Told is based around sharing bits of advice, but this track is as numbingly checklisty and uneventful as you can get. It's just Riley listing the things he's done that he isn't proud of, but the worst thing he's ever done is he let a damn good woman leave. And I guess that one line is supposed to be enough to hit us in our feels, despite us not knowing a single detail about this girl. We don't know anything about their relationship. Nothing. This song is just nothing. However, Thankfully, the album closes off with the strongest track it has to offer, That's My Dixie. Obviously, Riley is a proud Alabama native, but has also had his run-ins with some lyrics on his song he removed from streaming services, Bury Me in Dixie. Obviously, Alabama, along with many southern states, aren't known under the best light when it comes to political issues, but I found this closer quite touching. It's Riley acknowledging that, hey, there has been a lot of bad stuff happen in my homeland, and there's even bad stuff still going on today, but that's not my Dixie. His Dixie is homemade pies and Georgia pines, mama's cooking, etc. That's his Dixie. That's the Dixie he's proud to be from. I just find it a very mature and smart song that I appreciate to hear. But unfortunately, that's as good as it gets. Overall, this album just left me with not much to digest. It goes in one ear and out the other. Even if some of the songs aren't that bad, there's just no redeeming factors about much of anything on this record. I tried to be kind in my review of his EP back in September because I like Riley Green. I want to like his music, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but this record just feels so uninspired, hollow, incomplete. I can't sit here and act like it's not as bad as it is. I've been a supporter of shorter albums, but this is where it doesn't help, because it just makes the album feel even more half-assed, because we're only getting 7 tracks, one of which we already got from an EP, nearly the same length. Depending on how you look at it though, maybe the short track list is a good thing because it's over quicker. I feel like I'm being too harsh, but this whole album just really disappointed me. It feels like Riley was being forced to put out an album this year, but didn't have anything in the works, so he just took the throwaways from his previous projects and re-recorded them. I mean, really, other than That's My Dixie, you can find a better version of every song being offered here on his debut. I'm going to close off this review because I don't want to hate on this thing too much. It was really, really disappointing to hear as a fan. Rating-wise, I think I'm going to give this one a 3. Nothing more to be said. So, that's all I've got for you guys today. Be sure to comment what you thought of this album in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed. If you're new, maybe consider subscribing for more country music content. Links to my Instagram, Discord, and podcast are in the description below. Be sure to check all of those out. And until next time, have a great day.